Okay, I'm resuming my demo in the hand. Um, we're going to reverse this so that it's the other side. In Sculptris, it's important to sculpt, or at least have it on the other side so that if you use the hand and make it symmetrical, you're using the right one, and I'll explain that later. But right now, I thought before we do that, we would compare it, tilt it a little bit so it's compared to the drawing over here. See if the fingers are in the right place. It's not too bad. This body of the hand looks a little bit large, so we could probably scale that down a little bit. Okay, so I'll scale that down so that it looks a little bit more that size. It looks like this area isn't that. So maybe I shouldn't have rotated. Let's see what happens. Wait, did I scale that right? Let's go back. Scale the whole thing down. That might not be too bad. So let's move the fingers. Maybe that needs to be, let's go back. Scale it up just a little bit more. Okay. This is going to look pretty good. It's going to work. I think it's important to embrace this technique of sculpting. Devante turned me on to Blender. It's been years since I've tried it, but I've been checking it out again, and it looks pretty good. My test is to see how much this technique works in Blender, and I think it's a pretty solid technique to use. Let's see. Maybe bring that over a little bit. So it's important to, just like when you're working from the model, working from life, it's important to try to match whatever view or angle you're looking at, in this case this drawing. As we change angles or whatever, go to a different drawing, we'll make adjustments that may not fit the previous drawing, but you just keep kind of working forward by making sure you have something from the current view. There are inconsistencies we'll find out with his drawings, Burne Hogarth's drawings, but that's when we make a judgment call to find out what works best for us, and that's also the way you start to understand what you're sculpting better, when you start to see these discrepancies. And let's see, move that over a little bit. Yeah, seems like he's got, probably turn that a little bit. I'm sorry, this is where this could go a lot smoother. I get nitpicky with this stuff because, let's face it, this is a pretty easy thing to do. Just clicking on and pressing a couple buttons. So it's not the best thing for a demo. You want things to move a little quicker, but maybe it's not too bad to slow things down a little bit. Let's move that. If I could in the classroom, what I would do is have a competition. Have everybody sit down at a computer or whatever it is, and whoever could make the best hand quickest. This method just is some kind of exercise. You know, sometimes you got to think about what we do the way the athletes do, you know. You have to practice. What we do is not any different from what athletes do. We both need skill, coordination, knowledge, muscle memory, strategy, organization, discipline. Okay, let's see. Looks like he's got that pinky out a little bit more. I think you're starting to see that. I think you're starting to see that you should be able to, through this process, to pose the hand whatever way you want to. Whatever way you need to. All right, so what I'm going to look at is the knuckles, to make sure the knuckles are kind of located in a way that makes sense. This one shows up more because these forms split here, but let's see, this one probably could come back a little bit more. And of course you can speed up this demo. Let's see. All right. He's got this thumb turned out a little bit more. So let's just do that. Is this all a waste of time? Maybe. I just want to get a look at it and compare it and see if we're on the right track. If it's working. So, let's see. How does he have that thumb? I don't think I'm going to turn that because I don't agree with that. I can see, and I think that the thumb turns away a little bit more than that. He has this almost on the same plane as that, and the thumb has to look opposable. And so I think I'm going to stick with what I have originally. Okay, so that's not awful.